What is worth fighting for?
You're not aligned with your microphone. Don't be creepy. Stop being creepy. Stop eating my sesame. All right, we are doing this.
Should slap it.
It's like 3, 2, 1. Where are we? Oh, there we are. Hello. It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks without a wrap up. It's been crazy, but really nothing happened. I mean, to be fair.
We debated if we should just like chat and stuff, but likely that wouldn't have been as interesting anymore. Plus, we were behind on our keys.
Put it closer. All right, now, okay, Arja's on point. Hello, Arja. Hello, Bamboo. So we're synced with the voice. Is everything good? Because we have to go through this.
Yeah, as always.
Arja did say it's a good sync, but we want a reconfirmation, Arja. If that's
basically
okay.
confirming everybody's internet connection.
Hey, what up, Rack? welcome.
How's it going?
Okay, Arja on YouTube as well. Also, for the folks who are watching this on YouTube, obviously, make sure to hit that like button. It always helps out the stream. And for future episodes of Wrap Up, we do require some more likes on this shit, all right? Thank you.
YouTube is taking our wrap up and shoving it in the annals of obscurity, and nobody actually. I'm trying to see how long I can get away with saying it.
It's all right. It's all right. Well, the thing is, we haven't done like the next episodes of Wrap Up since like 2 weeks because, well, really, Path of Exile 2. Not really. No, it's all because we didn't have a lot happening into World of Warcraft apart from like your hardcore and classic and all of that. Not really has happened within the retail, and we're all about retail WoW, so it had, well, let's just say we had a couple of news drop this week, and
So,
we
less than a day ago, actually.
well, I'm talking about also the nerfs to Silken and the super ring that is being buffed, but it's still gonna be shit. We're gonna talk about all these today. You better stop the music, homie, because
I'm stopping the music right now. Like, what do you mean? I was already stopping it. What's going on?
you have one job. God damn it.
I have. Okay, then I'm done. I'm out. Peace.
Okay, is everything fine now? I think we were talking and we couldn't get heard. All right, we should be good, everybody. We should be good. No more music.
Oh, this coffee's so good.
Yeah, coffee at this hour is so good, and he's not gonna sleep tonight.
I'm just gonna stay up all night and not play Path of Exile because you think that's how I'd be spending my time, but no, I'd probably just be scrolling Instagram, which is my drug now. It's horrible.
All right. So is the music off? Like
Music
everybody
has been off for like 10 minutes now.
All right. Cool. So what are we talking about today?
Well,
I guess
which one are we starting with?
Well, the biggest one, obviously,
The CRESTS, because finally.
It is finally, sure.
also-
I mean, listen, I initially I read the article and I was excited, but because I started reading it and I was like, okay, this is it, and it stopped. And
Yeah,
I was
it's like, where's the rest of it?
Yeah, so where's all the rest of it? Okay, so I guess there's no surprise, there's no denying that. I think every content creator and their mom started doing videos about how problematic Mythic Plus is.
It's not unsurprisingly, of course.
Everybody has done it in some capacity, and we did it first, by the way. And like
boys,
now we can clearly see that Blizzard is acting upon it. I just feel it's a little bit too late. Now we can talk about
that's a spicy topic because people can definitely misunderstand that. There's two sides to these.
No, it's too late in the sense that most of the core crowd that was playing Mythic Plus, let's say a month and a half ago, they're gone. They're not playing anymore.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So those people are not coming back due to these changes, right?
Oh,
if you
no,
wanted those people to come back, you wanted a lot more. Now, I'm not saying I'm not trying to bash Blizzard or whatever. I'm just saying these should have gone in like way earlier. But okay, let's just go through them and
Yeah,
we'll discuss.
we'll talk about that as well, because it's kind of like a problem with WoW design in general.
Yeah. Okay. So this is basically good news overall, because we will be getting more currency, and this is specifically really good for alts.
Yeah.
So let's see the fine print from Blizzard. So in next week's update, Siren Isle patch 11.0.7, we will make several adjustments to the availability of Gilded Harbinger crests to the acquisition for all crest types through Mythic Plus dungeons. Gilded crests and Mythic track gear represent the pinnacle of available gear from a season and are meant to be rare, but we have seen feedback that both the availability of these crests and the cost of crafting top tier gear felt prohibitive. Well, they've seen the feedback.
Yeah, it's weird because a lot of it, and by the changes as well, feels like it's very on point with what we've said as well.
Exactly. I mean, this is part of the topics. I think there were 2 videos regarding this. There was one like is Mythic plus shit or something like that, and then we had the fix in WoW video.
Yeah.
So these were the first video where we talked about this. Now, currency rewards from Mythic Plus dungeons, crests, gold, Valor Stones, now scaled by keystone level, and completing a keystone outside of the timer now always deducts 4 crests. Yeah, I remade the table because I wanted
that's
to
what
be
I mean. This is so pretty.
much more clearly so everybody can understand. What does this mean? Now, they didn't mention, so here is the thing. Currency rewards from Mythic Plus dungeons, crests, gold, and Valor Stones.
Yeah, we don't know anything
We don't know anything about Valor Stones or gold, but I do remember a specific area within the video you made regarding the gold rewards and the Valor Stones and all of that. So it's nice to see, but we don't know the amounts. We only know what will happen with all of the crests, okay? So here it is, right? We have the keys, we have the crest rewards on time, and if the keys are bricked.
This is probably like the biggest thing that they've changed so far.
Yeah, it's like less punishing. So now, the truth is, most of us here, like even you guys who are watching right now, probably already have your mains decked out, right? So this will not affect your mains that much, or maybe at all. However, when you're talking about alts, this is gonna be a much better time for like getting into them, because this is big.
This is big, but this is also big for the entire content as well, because as ARPG fans like ourselves, and hopefully you or not, but when you go into a game and you play an infinitely scalable content and you want, okay, I'm playing +8 and I want to do a +9. If there's no like real difference in terms of the rewards for the +8 and the +9, it's not really going to feel like you're progressing in any meaningful way, or at least if the game rewards you for that. So having the rewards actually scale with the key level, that's very big, just for the feel of you playing the game and knowing like, oh, if I can do a 10 instead of doing a 9, let me do a 10 because I just get a little bit more. This is also addressed in their blue post, by the way, because they wanted to not have people like farm 8s if you want Gilded Crest, which is something that we've done, for instance, and they just do 10s, because the whole purpose of this is for you to do as high as you can possibly do and for you to be incentivized for it. And the 4 crest penalty for leaving, that is also very big.
Yes, I think this is the biggest.
Yeah,
the biggest.
Let's think of, normally we do 10s and 11s off stream, right? Whenever we do our quest, and now 10s reward you with 12s. I don't know, it's still 12s?
It's still 12s, yeah. It's still 12s. It's just the fact that you brick it, you
get 5, so you lose about 8, right?
Yeah,
no, 7.
You get 5 if you break it.
Yeah.
So it's such a bad feeling, and this is why a lot of people a part of the reason why a lot of people actually quit if something happens in the pug world, because this like the reward is just not there anymore, including the crests.
So think about it this way: the new +2 will reward you 4 crests if you brick it, while the 3 already rewards you with 6. So the +3 that we're gonna have is already going to give you more crests as a failed key than all of the ones that we have right now, which is very good, because sure, that's great for you, so you don't feel like you just wasted a lot of time, but also more importantly, this is hopefully going to eliminate some of the levers. Because if you go into a key, let's say you are a lever, you know you are, I know you've been in Narkeys. You go into a key and you say, holy shit, these guys just wiped. I don't know if we can time it. I'm out. I'm just going to go into the next key because I'm not getting anything out of it. But now, like, okay, they look like they can kind of clear. It's probably not going to be in time, but at least I get 8 crests, right? That's still a decent amount. Not to mention that even if you do time it, when it comes to 12s and higher, which is let's say, the break point of where the scaling stops, because 12s just are essentially the same affixes all the way to 20.
It's nice that now it's scaled, right? So now you didn't have this before. Now, if you want to like actually push, so you go for the 9s, 10s, 11s, you get a lot more.
Yeah.
And the cap is at 12. Plus, also cap, very important. They are not capped anymore since this reset.
For this season. We don't know.
For this season, no, they will always cap them at the beginning of the season.
But also, a personal problem that I have had with essentially the amount of crests that we've received is that now with the 12, you can actually complete an upgrade for it.
Yep.
You can actually do a full upgrade if you've timed the 12. So there is a big incentive to actually time a 12. Even if you want to just upgrade your Mythic Plus, your Myth Track gear, now you can, if you're like a plus 10 player, you can also be incentivized to, I can do a 12. If we can actually time a 12, I can just get one upgrade per dungeon.
I mean, listen, if you like, the thing is for people like us, right? Like we did 11s, no problems. And this is the biggest incentive you can have. Because up until this change, we usually like, if we want to get some crest to upgrade our gear, we usually stick to 10s. Okay, let's do some 10 guys.
For the weekly vault as
weekly
well,
vault and getting some of those, like missing couple of 5, 7 or 8, 10 crest to upgrade your last vault drop from the previous week, whatever. Now, when we have all of these 10s, we can actually like have a bigger reason and a bigger motivation to like push even further because we get more gilded crests. Oh, also, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just wanted to correct what I said. From plus 10s, you can actually get an upgrade per run. I was looking at the brick ones. If you brick a 12, you still get an upgrade per dungeon. So although doing plus 12s is probably out of the scope of a lot of people, we know you guys do keys, so you're probably there as well. But even if you fail a plus 12, you still get something that's quantifiable, because whenever you're rewarded with what we have right now, 10 crests, they don't do anything, or you get 4 crests. What does 4 crests mean? It means that if you do 4 dungeons, you can upgrade 1 item and still have 1 crest left over. What are you gonna do with 1 crest? So these like
stupid
inconsistent amount of crests that don't really scale with any meaningful price of any gear or upgrade was just weird, and it left you with like you didn't really have a tangible feeling of your reward when you go in. If you cannot do anything with it, you just have to play more.
Exactly, but let's also read the fine print, because there are some things they mention, and there are a couple of more things. So first of all, the number of gilded Harbinger crests needed to purchase a nascent gilded Harbinger crest is reduced to 60. Now it was 90, and I hope this also will translate into season 2.
Hopefully.
Number of Harbinger crests needed to purchase trade-up bags is reduced to 45%. So this has been 50% half. This is really good. Yeah. This was 90, right? Harbinger of the Gilded Achievement, really big, now requires item level 636 in every slot, and this is the one where you get the reduction to
because it was a problem.
This was 639. Nobody had this shit. I mean, I think in our guild, the biggest, the eye level is I forgot his name, the shaman Naria.
636 probably.
637.
637.
And
who has six? Yeah, but the
who the fuck has 639?
It's inconsistent with the crafted gear, because I mean, people have different opinions about the crafted system, but it was actually, and it still is, really helpful to be able to craft relevant pieces of gear, especially if you're going to be using what we can call gilded crests myth track currency, right? Because they enable you to have 639s, right? So using myth track currency to get only a 636 and costing so much more and not even contributing to your achievement just felt like a big loss. Hey, Jinx, thank you for the super chat.
Who is it? Jinx.
Jinx. Appreciate
Flame,
the love and
got
support.
nothing. Just wanted to fanboy.
We appreciate the fanboyism. Thank you guys for liking and all of the super chats. Leave a like on the stream as well if you enjoy it. We want to get this big, so maybe some devs can see the stream and
I think they seen a couple of the videos posted whatsoever. So shall we go further with what they said? Okay, for players who are functionally finishing with their gaming journey, the bar for the Harbinger of the Gilded Achievement has been a bit too high, precluding the use of crafted gear and requiring luck to fill every slot. Lowering the threshold from item level 639 to 636 should add a little more flexibility and ensure that players who are completing the hardest content feel they can unlock the final warband discount. Yeah. And that will include a lot of us and you, and that's really great. Now, let's see what they had to say here. The changes to Crest awarded for Mythic Plus have two main aims. Ideally, challenge and reward should be directly correlated. No fucking shit. What a crazy concept.
I'm so happy for these new modern game design philosophies, man. Holy shit.
Such a new revolutionary idea. Until now, players whose primary goal was optimizing crest income were incentivized to run the lowest difficulty that awarded the desired crest type, even if they were capable of completing much more challenging content. I think we're the prime example of that.
Yeah.
This had secondary effect of making it much harder for players just entering the gilded range to find groups for Mythic 8 keys, because they were often competing for slots with players who really belong in 10s, 12s, or even higher. Man,
I'd never thought about this, but that's a good point.
Yeah, while it is important for all members of a Mythic Plus group to have a shared interest in finishing a dungeon within the timer rather than just the key holder, dropping from a reward of 12 crests down to 5 crests when the timer was missed felt overly punitive. Currently, in patch 11.1.5, when the timer, for example, a group who fails to beat the timer in a Mythic Plus 7 will receive more crests for their effort than a group who crushes the timer in a Mythic Plus 4. So that's, I mean, we've been signaling this for months and months and months, and we'll get to like all the signals that have been signaled from the beta, actually. We hope that the difference of 4 crests strikes a better balance of incentivizing group effort while still feeling rewarding. Our goal with these changes is to help players who are attempting to push into the upper echelons of content, as well as those who have alts that are looking to gear up to match the progress of their mains. Okay, thank you for all the feedback, blah, blah, blah. Now, when did we start signaling this? Now let's be honest here, because there's a lot of shit. So this was, I think we started talking about these problems back from the beta, if I'm not mistaken.
I was thinking if it was earlier than that, but season 3 of Dragonflight didn't really have this issue. We probably would have had an issue prior to that, but that was too long ago, and that's kind of a moot point at this point. But yeah, beta in the sense that dungeons didn't really scale their rewards practically with their difficulty, and the crest system. I don't know how much we pointed this out, but I know for sure that I know Nagura made a video, because I know I watched her talk about it as well. That since she's a cutting edge raider, and I'm sure other people do the same, but I'm saying that I just saw her video. They already have their crest calculated with how much they need to craft and what pieces, and when they calculate with how much they drop, like, oh shit, this is gonna take like 2 or 3 more weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
The
problem with this specific information that they just dropped on us is the fact that it's not complete. This should have come with a package of changing how the Mythic Plus system works entirely, changing the penalties to the timers, changing the depletion system, changing it, like basically everything that was covered in.
For sure. Well, I think there's 2 main topics as well. So just to finish the first one, this overall in and of itself is a good change. It's a good change in the sense that, okay, they are listening to the community. Shut up, man. They're listening to the community. They're doing actually what we hopefully feedbacked, and making it a little bit more incentive, a little bit better to for us to be playing. Normally, in a normal state, this probably would have come next patch and hit the new season with a stride. But obviously, WoW just operates at a different speed right now in terms of their content delivery and in terms of their supposedly player retention goals. So big holidays, big 1.1107 patch is a decently sized patch. They don't want people just to keep dropping off. So this is probably kind of like a band-aid really fix. Please guys, please don't leave us. We still want you here. Here's some crests, right? This is probably it. Now, going into the grander scale of things, yes, this is definitely not enough, and it's definitely too late.
Okay. It's a step in the right direction. I will give them that. Okay, it's nothing huge, it's nothing massive. There are big changes. Okay, it's big because the impact they have on us who have been like getting into all of the trenches of gearing up through Mythic Plus, through our luckily guild who is raiding on Mythic as well. We feel constantly the need to get more rewards, or at least for the rewards to be scaled up with the keys. The problem is that it is not enough, at least in the sense of trying to save what the current player-based sentiment is right now, all right? So when we're talking about big changes to Mythic Plus, yeah, everybody's hoping that is going to happen in Season 2, and this is a nice prerequisite to that, but I'm not convinced just yet. At least based, I was expecting a little bit more from the team to just at least tease. You know the way they teased, guys, Hunter Talent's rework is coming, don't worry about it.
Sure.
You know, they put that out. Like,
you think they would have teased it if they had more?
No, I mean, I don't know if tease is the proper word here, but in a way, I think they are aware of how the player sentiment is, and I'm pretty sure they're a little bit scared of how their numbers are looking right now. And I think Billilar posted a video where he compared the numbers of Mythic Plus the beginning of season 1. You seen that? And that was like 50% lower than season 3 of Dragonflight.
You know what's okay compared to Dragonflight? Sure. What's interesting is that when we've done the last couple of months of videos, at one point, I don't know which on which video it was, we looked at the rating cutoffs for Mythic.io, for Radar.io, and there were like 30 or 40% of the players did a +2, and then fewer and fewer as you keep scaling to the key. If you look at it now, it's 55%. So the knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, more people are playing. But no, it's the same people, or maybe even fewer, but so many other people dropped out of the game that the ratio just got so much bigger out of the entire community.
It was also, at that time, it was also a gear discussion as well. Not a lot of people were still being able to like push it. Now imagine trying to do a +8 key a month and a half ago when we tried to do it, and now it's like a walk in the park.
Yeah, it's basically
the gear infusion also impacts this in a huge way, but that doesn't mean that the player sentiment is here. And it's not like, sometimes we discuss about this like, okay, man, I'm seeing this in the YouTube comments, but it's just a little known bubble. But now you see it everywhere. You go on other content creators comments, same thing. You go on forums, same thing. You go on Reddit, same thing. So as much as we are trying to stay out of like our own little world and bubble, it's clear now that the player sentiment is 100%. This season is shit. Dungeons are shit. So if they don't like at least say something, this is good. Okay, so this information regarding the scaling and the crest and the increase of drop rate and crest and all of that, great. It's a step in the right direction. I just feel it's too late.
You know why you feel like that? Because this is very close to the BFA experience. If you remember in the BFA beta, we tested it as well. I think you got beta before, so I didn't test it myself too much.
I only tested PvP in BFA beta, man.
Preach definitely made the same video that we made in beta and that other people made in beta saying what you're trying to release with this game is not good. At the time, it was about the Azurite system, and then we had the Shadowlands with the Covenants as well. And the way they fixed it in BFA, or at least attempted to fix, was in 8.1 when they added the essences, right? That was supposed to kind of mitigate the issues with Azurite.
I think the first thing they introduced to try to fix it was the scrapping vendor.
Wasn't that at the release?
I don't think it was. It at the release?
I think I was. I remember. Yeah, it was a release, but
long time ago.
The essences.
But the essences was the first big step to try to.
But that was late. That was That was in the 0.1 patch. Now we have this slightly earlier, but it's still not that early because this is essentially something that they probably have been aware of.
That was 0.2 essences, man. That
was it?
The
oh my god. Okay,
yes.
then this is an upgrade.
0.1, I think. 0.1 was just
Dark Shore patch.
It was better for the Zalaron, man. That was 0.1.
Yeah, we didn't have essences then. That's true.
0.2 was with Nashatar.
So in their defense, they're operating a little bit faster in the sense that they've received.
No, it's clear they're listening. It's clear they're like. I mean, they have now a pretty good track record of like being aware. What I feel is happening right now is like they're super slow on implementing stuff, and I don't know the reason why.
It's way too slow.
Way too slow.
Even if it's faster than BFA, they're operating at a different speed, and we've called the Mythic Plus being terrible in the beta. I know that at the time I was watching a lot of Dorky streams. I was watching Max's. I was watching all of those guys stream, and everybody pretty much had the same opinions. Like, what the fuck's going on? This is just way out of whack. So it has been announced since beta. This is we told you since beta, and it took you like a whole patch to fix it. This is why we say that it's a little bit too late, because one thing that the War Within did really well is get a lot of people in. We did a video, and I think you did some number crunching at the beginning from a lot of sources where we speculated that the whole WoW community was about 11 million strong or something like that, if I recall.
Yeah, but that was like right at the beginning, split between.
But that doesn't matter. That's still World of Warcraft, right? And a bigger chunk was probably going to be on retail anyway, bigger than normal. And you've lost a lot of those people. And we have like friends that came back into the game that haven't played since probably like Shadowlands or something like that. And we see how their approach and how the reception is towards Mythic Plus. You probably had a similar approach where like, well, dude, this is way too much. And that's probably been your experience or your friend's experience as well. So those people stopped playing, either are not playing as much or completely dropped off, and that was a big loss because the War Within brought in so many new players with a big chance.
Record breaking at the time
to hopefully not get back the peak.
The thing is, so there's a big discussion regarding like how many people actually played in the season 1 of War Within, at least at the beginning. And one of the arguments on why it seemed that they were a lot lower when compared to Dragonflight season 3 was the fact that a lot of them switched to Delves. And the people, Delves was a big factor on this. Now, I always said this, if they would like have a way to like provide data or combat logs for just to have to.
Velar tried like the closest thing you can get by seeing.
But no, I'm saying like just look at fucking Warcraft logs on a section for Delves, and I think then you would like actually see the reality of it all. Now, that being said, it does not excuse on anything that what has happened in season 1 of War Within. And I will say this once again, like a broken record. Morgan Day, back prior to even the alpha releasing for War Within, mentioned the fact that they want to tone down Mythic Plus. They want to reduce the number of plates. Nameplates.
Yeah.
They want to reduce the number of abilities and make everything a little bit more consistent. What has happened in season 1 was actually the opposite. It feels even worse than the last 2 seasons of Dragonflight. And not only that, but the stress levels from some specs, I would say healers mostly, and tanks as well, is through the roof. And listen, man, at this point, I just want to, I miss having like proper fun, 100% fun doing keys. Listen, this is why I actually enjoyed part of Shadowlands. I love dungeons and Shadowlands.
Yeah, they were a lot easier. The barrier was a lot lower, and I think somebody in our stream said something very good. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. WoW used to be about getting your friends and doing some fun stuff. Going and doing some fun stuff with your friends. It was never about min-maxing, calculating, simming. It was not about routing and using all sorts of external websites to do all of this stuff. And this is what you get when you overly design the content, where how are we going to beat this plus and what we need? Kicks to be number 1, they're number 2, they're number 3, they're number 4. Okay, then the weak card that shows the timer so that you can pre-defensive cooldown when this hits, because if it hits, you die. And then how many dispels do we have? How many do we rotate? Like, okay, I understand this being a fun gameplay when you try to play like a challenging game where you want to optimize all of that stuff, and that's the fun of the game. But WoW was never that, right? And we're gonna have a video about this probably very soon. Oh no, it's next year actually. It's fine.
It's all right.
It's already edited.
We can call it pretty soon, 3 weeks.
Yeah, but that's the I think the conflict that WoW designers have right now, where they're not all on the same page. Like Morgan, they said one thing and then people did the same thing.
Yeah. The result was the opposite.
And you can see that on all aspects of the game. You can the best example is probably even the tier sets. You have basic tier sets where this does 5% more damage and our force it does 10% more damage. Then you have tier sets like the Frost Decay. When you consume runic power, you just get a fat bonus chunk of strength. That's so not the same as everything else. So it just speaks volumes as to, some designers are they got the memo, but others are like, I just want to do some cool shit, right? So that lack of communication.
You feel that there's a problem there with communication between the team 2 basically, because they're all also segmented and all of that. There's like system teams, there's like the design team, there's the quest team. There's a lot of teams within team 2, right? So there's probably for sure some issues with the communication, probably the direction. As much as we love Ian, it does feel at this point that the direction, at least for the gameplay, not the story, not the vibe, not the whatever, the direction is not quite clear. As bad as BFA was with its flaws, as bad as Shadowlands, at least in terms of like the gameplay loop, it was clear. The direction was pretty clear. It was shit, but it was much clearer. Now it doesn't feel this way because it's conflicting. We have one information being posted out, and then the actual reality of it is not quite at all.
When you say this, it makes a lot of sense when you think of them being a lot more people. Usually stuff like this happens when the team is bigger. Obviously you need a better the
maybe
organization
too many cooks in the kitchen. How about that?
Yeah, that's also the thing. You need more kitchens and more chefs, more who give out the little responsibility thing, a better management system. And I mean, we know for sure that they already cut down on the QA so much that I'm not sure they even have a QA anymore. This is for because I don't think we've ever mentioned this before, but the War Within was the first time they've ever released a trailer for beta.
Oh
get people
yeah,
into
exactly.
beta.
Yeah,
Remember that?
exactly.
And,
Yeah,
I was just going for it for some of the edits that we were doing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, right? Why would they do this? And then I think back at Diablo 4, which is a game inside house. It's in their company that actually incentivizes people to test their beta with cosmetic rewards. I don't know why WoW doesn't do that. Okay, you don't have a QA team. That kind of sucks. I'm sorry, but hey, we can
Use
test.
the
Just give
mules.
us free shit. Give us a mule, man. Give us a donkey mount, bro. I would fucking test beta.
That would be so
Can
funny.
you imagine how many people would be actually on beta? The amount of data they could have to work with.
Yeah, but that's the thing. What do they do with this data? Because it feels like in some capacity they act upon it, in some capacity they don't. Now, just getting back to the subject at hand here. When you're talking about everything that is changing right now, so this happens next week. Next reset, we have 11.1, 11.0.7 patch with the Siren Nile, the beautiful ring, which we'll get to in a second.
Very beautiful, so pretty.
And the super ring, yes, the best ring ever. And all of these changes go live. What needs to happen after this is them actually doing either a Warcraft Direct regarding 11.1 or something something along those lines, where if you remember I said this, when they announced 11.1 they better fucking announce some big changes to Mythic Plus, or else
they need to do what they used to do, and I don't think they've done it in a while, the survival videos, which now I think Kalani kind of does it on their channel. They just released one like a day ago.
Yeah, but that's more like a review.
Yeah, but I'm talking about all
of
of the people that dropped off. They don't watch our channels. They don't watch the Warcraft Directs. They're more likely going to watch a trailer for a new patch than a stream commentary of game design, right? And you want to bring those people back, and you want to make
you want to bring those people to watch this.
Yeah, of course. Like the stream. Like
if you're on YouTube,
comment.
please like.
We're on a campaign right now. The thing
Vote
is,
Flame
for president. Hey,
of the Banana Republic of Michigan.
Yeah. Sure. I was gonna say it's kind of what our situation. Never mind. You lost a lot of people, and those people are actually the blood, the meat and bones of WoW, and you want to bring them back. And how you're gonna bring them back is like letting them know, listen, this is probably why you guys left. This is going to be fixed. What this is essentially, of course, Mythic Plus. It's gearing. It's. To be fair, I don't think World Within has that many problems as opposed to Shadowlands, Dragonflight, but the ones that it has, they just stick out so much because they feel like they're going in the opposite direction of the rest of the game.
Yes, that's so they do their dance as they always do. One step forward, two steps backwards.
left.
So this is their dance. Unfortunately, by all accounts, in general terms, World Within has been so far a great expansion. We are only feedbacking and like kind of getting our pain points pretty much out there in regards to season 1. And this is what like season 1, like a season of World of Warcraft is basically what the core player base is actually chewing on in terms of content. You're going to have the big influx of new, or I would say, I'm not sure if new, but returning players for the launch of the expansion. They're going to stick around a little bit when the season starts, but they're going to fade away. The core audience of the game will still play during that season. And as much as we talk about the honeymoon period fading away from the launch of the expansion, blah, blah, all of that, you're going to have the core audience playing that season. And then you're going to see exactly what the problems are.
To your point, and the problem with, sure, you can say in the past that the expansions in the Mythic Plus was designed just for the core audience, so that's why we didn't have a lot of new players. But now, even the game itself is designed kind of opposing the core audience wishes when the core audience is saying no. Not like this, right? So you're actually diminishing your core audience even more, and it kind of.
And listen, one big ass truth here: it's your core audience who like kept the game alive during the dark days of Shadowlands. 9.1 moving forward. Yeah, those were and there were so few people who were kept on. But this is why. Apart from all the folks that left because of the scandals and the lawsuits and all of that, rightfully so. The gameplay loop was good. It was better than what we have now. If you remember, the Fated season of Shadowlands was actually really good.
Yeah,
I think that was the first time they brought back what was it? The one from Legion that was also in Burning Crusade. Oh man,
that was the first time they did the legacy dungeons.
What was it called?
Grimrail, Iron Dogs.
No. It was in Legion.
Mage Tower.
not the Mage Tower, the dungeon, the big ass dungeon in 2 parts.
The Mega
The
Dungeon?
Return to Karazhan.
Karazhan.
That's what.
Oh
That's
my
what
God.
I'm. Yeah, they brought that
Yeah.
back, and that was like one time where we had. I think a good time also getting the alts because they implemented a lot of catch up feedback. But it was once again the gameplay loop doing dungeons and doing the faded raids. Even though at the time everybody was kind of excited for faded raids because we also had the gear vendors and all of that, so it was really
Yeah.
good. But the gameplay loop once again felt good. The dungeons weren't that punishing. You didn't have this stupid ass punishing timer situation we have right now, and even though
Because we didn't have the same gearing system, so you couldn't really punish us that much more in Shadowlands than you could now.
Yeah, it was different issue. There were some different issues with gearing back then. But again, I'm talking strictly about the gameplay loop, where your core audience plays a season. If they don't raid, they're probably going to do Mythic Plus. And if they're going to do Mythic Plus, that's like, I don't know, 90% of what they're doing when they log into the game. Now, if that loop is not working, your game will not survive. You're gonna cancel this game. I think they came pretty close to like closing down the game in Shadowlands. But what happened? The core audience, the few people
Mythic
still played.
As much as because what was interesting that happened with the War Within is a lot of people came back that probably haven't played since Legion or maybe even before. Because I've heard a lot more opinions about what is this Mythic Plus? Why is this so important? Why can you not just do something for me? That's probably why Delves came. And not a lot of people resonate with Mythic Plus as a core end game of MMO because it's supposed to scale, right? Normally, end game MMOs don't really usually scale. They have a stopping point. This is it. This is as far. Congratulations, you beat the game, right? Scaling is more of an ARPG concept. And Mythic Plus essentially is kind of the loop, like Marcelian said, the end game loop that keeps the gameplay alive. Imagine you playing WoW right now and not having Mythic Plus in the game. When would you have stopped playing? Because there's nothing else to do outside. So Mythic Plus, however much you like it or don't like it, it is keeping the game alive until the next season hits. So it's very important why, because we've heard this as well in the comments, like, why are you always talking about Mythic Plus, right? There's a reason why so many people play it, and then there's a reason why it's so important.
It's the most popular gameplay loop, at
It's
least
keeping
after
WoW alive, essentially, yeah.
after the most of the raids are being done, and clearly like the majority of people play normal and heroic, not mythic rating. I mean, those have been long gone, and a lot of people got there ahead of the curve or whatever. So it's the remaining gameplay loop, and you can see it clearly from the logs and the numbers. That's what's going to happen. They're going to play Mythic Plus, and if that is suffering, then everybody's going to have a bad time. So just circling back to what we were talking about regarding these changes, they better have, like, once we have the 11.0.7 up and running next week with all of these good changes for crests and all of that, immediately after or shortly after should be something, even a blog post to just announce some big changes to Mythic Plus overall. I think this gameplay loop has so much potential. And they fail to like bank on it, and you can clearly see the potential of it from examples like season 4 of Shadowlands, season 3 of Dragonflight,
Season 4 of Dragonflight.
Yeah, all the popular seasons where you know why they were popular, you know what happened. It's not a secret. They were easier, basically. Okay, we can talk about specifics, but they were easier. People were having a lot better time just playing them. Healers were not as stressed out. Tanks were not as stressed out, and DPS were just enjoying blasting all around. This is a game, for God's sake. You have to have fun, first of all, not being stressed out all the time. God damn it.
Easy is just one aspect of the game, but people have like a knee-jerk reaction when you say easy. Do you mean I have to be bad to play the game? No, it's not just about easy, it's also about restrictions being removed. Because we can talk about Mage Tower being released, we can talk about corruptions being on a vendor not having to be RNG each week, we can talk about the covenants being interchangeable without a restriction, we can talk about gear vendors and bullions and all of that. Every time there was also a layer of accessibility and a layer of friction missing that they took away, whether it was with essences or corruptions, whether it was with covenants or legendaries. Something happened that players just had access to the game without having to jump through their hoops that they consider friction to be something beneficial for the game because it's supposed to increase the value of the reward, which fundamentally yes, but I don't think they know what that friction should be, and it's clear that whenever they put put their finger on the friction, it creates tank and healer, compelling gameplay. Well, you have to overly nerf them so that, because we want healers to be able to constantly heal, and we want people to feel like they earned the challenge. Well, sure, but once again, I don't think that this is what WoW is supposed to be.
If that comes to impacting the fun aspect of a video game, then you failed as a game designer. Like if you push and push and push and push, and it's clearly that they did this from season to season, from expansion to expansion. They pushed and pushed a lot of things like make you like super giga brainly oriented and then several million times. It's not fun anymore. Okay, a challenge is a challenge up until a specific point while you're having fun. If that kills the fun, it's not a game anymore. It's just basically now we're going back to the chores discussion.
Sure.
So.
Think about it this way. Think about you doing a plus 12 right now, whether it's timed or not. Let's say the reward is the same, and if you time it, you get 50 gilded crests. If you fail it, you get 45 gilded crests. You get 1,000 gold if you win it. You get 750 if you fail it. We can talk about, people don't want to play difficult stuff. It's not about not wanting to play difficult stuff. It's about not feeling like their time is worth it and rewarded. Because if
the punishments are way too big.
It's the everybody has a price thing, right? If you increase the reward to a ridiculous amount, at one point, even people that never really want to do Mythic Plus are like, all right, I want to try it. I want $10 million for finishing a plus 10, right? People are gonna do it regardless, but the rewards were definitely not incentive enough. And another argument to support this was the PvP situation at the beginning of BFA, Shadowlands. Whenever they made the best gear coming from BFA, the influx of locusts, PvE locusts that have swarmed the arena ratings, they just deleted, they just created boosting, rating didn't matter for shit. Everybody was doing arenas on all the streams. You would watch Guraf doing Boomkin in arena. It was hilarious.
Never stepped in arena in her life.
It was hilarious as fuck. And I don't know Nagura's proclivity towards PvP, but I don't see her ever PvP, so I couldn't imagine it was easy for her to want to push
she had
rating.
a good time, actually.
Yeah, she enjoyed it, but it was because of the reward, not necessarily because arenas were harder before than they were at the beginning of Shadowlands. So that's kind of it. And this is what the changes are also adding, is more rewards. Definitely not enough, because this is just, like a band-aid fix. I don't know if they could have fixed the whole thing in 1107. They could have, but
They could have went for this way earlier on, and I think once again they have access to the numbers so that to prove all of this. But we're at this point we're just like coping, right? So 11.1 has to like bring up everything, at least in terms of toning down the dungeons and getting on with everything that will make our experience and your experience, as challenging as it can be, but also fun. Like the most important thing is still has to be you want to have fun. Going back to what you said, like WoW used to be somebody said in the chat. WoW used to be something you just do with your friends.
With your friends, and you do a dungeon, do a raid, and you have some fun. Sure, it's nice to have a challenge, but there are plenty other games that can offer you that challenge. You don't have to fit it into WoW as much as we like to do challenges, because we've had this conversation before about elitists, and you said that we're not really elitists. I think we talked about with Sunshade. But if we're going to separate the community, we're probably around the 1%, if not in the 5% of the gamers right now, statistically speaking. By looking at what kind of content that we do and how many people clear that content of the entire player base, we're probably in the echelon that enjoys the sadistic content to a degree, right? So it's not like we don't like it ourselves.
Even we are missing some of the past seasons, and remember how good they felt. And
sometimes it's fun to just have fun. That's why so many people
it's fun
play
to just
Red
have
Paladin.
fun. Flame 2024.
Yeah. Why do you think Red is so popular, man? Is it because it's the complex spec with in-depth mechanics, or because Anduin somehow is cool now? Nah, brother, no. It's just simple, stupid fun. Yeah. That's what people actually want at the end of the day.
All right, let's talk about the Super Ring.
Yes,
they
been fun.
They buffed the Super Ring. Like it's really interesting because you released that video regarding you went on a PTR, tested everything. Every research has been made, and shortly after, it's not it's clearly a coincidence. Yeah. But shortly after,
it's fun to think that it's not a coincidence that we procced this change.
So I don't know if you guys are aware, but next week we're gonna get this new patch, and the borrowed power from this patch is gonna be the Cersei Circlet, which is a new ring, like very similar to, almost identical to what we had in 10.1, and it's pretty shit. and they buffed it, and it's still shit. So,
I think Taze also wrote an article for Wowhead that was released about 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I think. He also talked about this, and he also included the buffs, because I didn't know about the buffs until I read his article. And he essentially is the theory crafter for Unholy and Frost Decay,
Taze.
and he does a lot of simming. He knows his numbers, and he tested these out and is like, nah, this is still not good enough. And it's funny because, I mean, I just looked at the DPS meters in the training dummies. It's weird, man, because
this should be an increase. This should be like the next golden thing to have.
And it would be cool, right? I mean, I'm not a big fan of locking in an item slot for an entire expansion like we had in Legion. We did that. I mean, you know, if this is like the best ring ever, you're only gonna loot one more ring the entire expansion. That might be slightly boring, but at the same time, if you make this interesting enough, that could be really cool. And we have fewer gems than we had in Dragonflight, and they could be, if they buff them to like stupid amounts, to be like, oh, for the single target, you can take this.
Just bring itch that BFA corruption
a little bit.
Just itch it just a
not
tap.
Twilight Devastation being 70% of your damage profile. That was a little bit stupid.
No. Just itch it a little bit. Hey, we have Jinx with another super chat. Go Flame. Wish I could give more than $2. He acts like I'm not here, man. I don't like this. All right, see you, Jinx. Thank you for the super chat. Gotta go, Flame. Go too.
I'm gonna go.
All right. It's all right. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
He plays with your emotions.
Okay, let's check out the buffs.
Sure.
We're doing this part of the job, guys. We have to go through them, so it's all professional.
I can drink some more in the meantime.
Yeah, go ahead. So we have the Thunderlord's Crackling Citron. Damage is increased by 20%. Now, if you want, you can read through what these gems will do, but it's nothing really that impactful or dramatic. It's just, passive stuff. Everything has a chance to do something. All right, so this is like the buffed version at a 619 item level. All right, this will go up. Now, let's see. Squall Sailor Citron damage increased by 43%. Why are you laughing, motherfucker? Why are you laughing? Your spells.
Matt's comment, and then we have a new member to our party.
Oh, Banger 707, welcome to the family.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being a part of our MO family. Yeah.
All right. So where was I? Oh, Squall Sailor Citron damage. Is this the one that was the super? There was one that was super OP, not OP, but the best one.
I don't know. It depends. I think no.
But this got buffed by 43%, and it's still shite.
Yeah, if I recall from Taze's Sims, the ones that he was recommending was the stat ones, which is the ones that I talked about the most in the video. Anyway. Because it's easier to compare with the current version of the ring. So the problem was, because this is, okay, you can go through this and you're probably going to get to the other ones, but I do want to make this point.
There's only a couple of buffed here. So.
Yeah, it's not that many. I don't know if the stats ones were buffed, because this is a problem that we're probably going to have a video on it as well, where the gearing in WoW is just stupid. It doesn't, the item levels, the stats are a lie, by the way. That is the video that we're going to have. Because if you take 2 rings of equal item level, they will have the exact same stamina, the exact same max stat, and the secondary stats will be, if you add them together, they'll be the exact same between the rings. So the stats essentially don't matter. Like, items could probably just go ahead and not have main stat and stamina anymore, because it doesn't really matter. What matters is the eye level. You don't interact with the stats. You don't look at a ring, oh, this has 16,732 stamina. And nobody looks at that shit. They just look, oh, 626 item level. And the problem was that once you got the super ring and you put the stat gems in and you add them all up together, they would be the exact same as a regular ring. Now, this is already a flawed design because somebody chose those numbers. Either they chose them as a placeholder and they thought, well, what numbers are we going to put? Just put like a regular ring.
It felt very random.
They either chose to be a copy paste of a regular ring, which is a problem when you're wanting to put a ring on a PTR test that people aren't supposed to be testing, or they just didn't want it to be that strong, right? They just wanted to, well, people don't want to figure out exactly what does it mean to proc the gems of your party members and just put stats and don't think about it that much, right? And
it's feels lazy.
Just going to be yeah, so that's why that's important. That's where we're starting with this ring. Now we can look at the buffs.
Okay, so we have the Squall Sailor Citron buffed by 43%, and we have the Undersea Overseer Citron buffed by 44%. Again, this is
the damage procs.
This is the damage procs, yeah, but this is a more cleavy one. And we also have a 20% buff to Storm Sewer Citron Shield. This is the Absorb one. I think this is for tanks.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
So this on the PTR, this scaled to 320k shield at 639. So 20% buff would be about 300 and what? 80%?
It's
380?
nothing. It's nothing.
It's not. Well, a tank has 10 million HP. What are you going to do with that? It's not even 400k absorb. Let's say it can be buffed by 400k with
this.
With
Will carry on into season 2 as well.
Will it though? Will it though? I'm not so sure.
Also, we have the Old Salt's Bardic Citron Healing increased by 43%. This is, again, a chance to like whisper.
To heal somebody for 123.
Well, this is 1619 item level, so it's, you know, maybe at 639 it's going to be better.
At 639 or maybe 200 at most.
Yeah, well, either way, they're shit. And also the Mariner's Hallowed Citron Healing increased by 44%. So the stats were not buffed. These are the only ones that
the stats are still the same. They're basically just your average ring with just shittier stats.
All right. So now I know you made a video about this, the ring and whatever, and the fact that we also seen like Be Cool from chat like saying that the 639 ring is worse than my Queen ring at normal.
Jesus Christ.
Now this is the level we're talking about here. This is supposed to be the new thing to look forward to in the mini patch. Now I'm not saying, listen, I'm not spoiled in that way. I'm not expecting new shit to get in terms of gear in a 0.7 patch. I'm not expecting.
Imagine if it was. Imagine if this was an equivalent to like a 650 item level ring. Everybody would do this shit. That island would be flooded with locusts and hyenas, killing all of the mobs and rares there, and you would have a desert of nothing remaining because they just won the ring. That's WoW. That's what WoW is. That's what it should be.
This is the symptom of them introducing this for the first time a thing like this back in Dragonflight. Up until Dragonflight, nothing like this happened in a 0.7 or 0.5 patch.
Yeah,
nothing.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
No, so we had the Mechagon trinket in BF, but
that was 0.2, man. That was major patch.
Oh, you mean in point? Yeah.
Yeah. This is season, I'm talking about a mini patch. Okay, so I'm not expecting any type of like chasing a brand new type of power in a mini patch. I'm expecting that in a major patch. Now, if you did do it in Dragonflight, and in Dragonflight it was impactful, like you simmed a lot higher, you cannot come now and give me this ring and my Ansurek ring from normal is better than Dick's max level ring.
It's worse.
Like, come on, man. What are you guys doing?
It's even worse because if I recall, when the ring came, you were playing red, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty good for red.
Oh yeah.
I was playing demo. It was terrible for demo. So it wasn't even a good for
it had its issues, I know, but the fact still remains. It was an increase of power for the majority of specs. And I've seen also some healers being used in it. I've even seen some tanks being used in it. So it was there to like, but this is not even the case. This is worse than what you have, right? Why would you take this? Why would you bother going out for it? Now, and again.
And also, by the way, something that we didn't say is it will take you 6 weeks to get it to 639. You won't just get it. Like, we are already using 639 rings, man. Like, 6 weeks? Are you
What
fucking
the hell,
kidding? Like,
man?
who the fuck? Come on.
The problem with this ring is so maybe it's not designed for people like us.
Probably.
Who are not making.
But we are the ones playing the game. Like, who are you making this for then?
I don't know. They're probably banking. I honestly don't know because this releases next week. How much more iteration they're gonna have for this? Like probably during the patch.
I'm almost 100% convinced that they're going to buff it again. And they're probably going to buff it throughout the 1107 patch because they want to keep people engaged. Like maybe they don't really care of retaining 100% of the player base towards the end of a patch because they know WoW is seasonal. Like people go, take a break and then come back with a new patch.
But listen. Like 11.1 will at the earliest release in March.
It's still a lot, but that's what I mean. It's still a lot of months.
Fucking 3 more months, dude. What are you going to do?
Okay, listen, this is a little bit ridiculous, but imagine this. How we own Blizzard. We're the team 2.
Yes,
team 2, team 3, whatever. We just say, fuck it, just buff it by triple.
I'm Mike, you're Rosoft.
You're Mick, I'm Rosoft.
All right.
And we
covered
just
it.
say, okay, triple the effects on all of the gyms. What's the worst that can happen? Triple the effects, everybody's gonna be like, holy shit, this is pretty good. Everybody's gonna be playing, and if this has to be a better ring at 619 than your 639. Otherwise, nobody's gonna do this shit. Nobody wants to fill their bags with a ring that's gonna be good in 6 weeks. Who the fuck plays that game?
Listen, Rosoft, they have to go really hard. They have to go really hard on making this ring broken. That's it. It's like the last phase of the season. Just give everybody, you know, ridiculous power. At least if you're not gonna have the fixes to the season, just give them extremely broken power so they can like sneeze
Have some
their
fun.
Yeah, have some fun up until 11.1 stars. At least you're gonna get some goodwill out of the existing player audience and just have everybody just steamroll through the content for a couple of months. Then everybody gets on their reset mode in 11.1. I'm just saying.
Sure, I mean,
it's better than this shit we have right now.
We were some of the first ones that criticized corruptions and how ridiculous they were when they were released, because we were doing a lot of arenas at the time and it felt very bad to be just one shot by a random corruption instead of actual player skills.
It's not like they cared that much.
So we were, what I'm trying to say is that we were part of the, don't give me ridiculous power, let my skill expression show my performance, right? We were part of that. But it was still so fun that no matter how many people complain about it, they played the game more. So as many people as we go, I don't want this shit, I don't want some weird ass bars, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be stupid fun. After a point, stupid fun just trumps ego at one point. It's like, fuck it, just give me the stupid fun, man. I just want to blast.
You are very right, Rosoft. And also, we have good news regarding the Mythic raid. I mean, we can beat this dead horse up until tomorrow. But at least, like, and I know among you there are folks who like are trying to like get Mythic Silken Court. And I think like a lot of guilds were stuck on Silken Court. And hopefully, with these changes, we have to go through them as well. It's going to be a lot easier. So talking a little bit about the Mythic, we're in the situation. So we just like re-killed the Kiveza yesterday. I'm a little so happy. It was my first kill, but it was a re-kill for the guild. So it was exactly. It was some work to be put up with it. I don't know why. It's probably because a lot of people who were actually in the first kill were not melees. That fight with a lot of melees is not good.
I cannot say I'm a mage. Like for me, it was the same fight.
As a melee, yeah, it's a different experience altogether. But we did it. That's all fine. Now we're moving along to Silken Court, and I know for a fact a lot of like guilds are actually were actually stuck with it. We'll see what is happening with these nerfs. So the Stinging Swarm now releases only 4 swarms. Was 5, and having 4 stacks of Stinging Swarm now triggers Stinging Delirium on Mythic difficulty. This is again very, very like easing down on the I would say the first mechanic you have to be aware of and not actually fuck up. Also, the Stinging Swarm damage taken percent per stack is increased to 25%. It was 20. Now this is kind of like to counterbalance in the damage a little bit, but it's a lot easier this way. So this is first thing really good. Decrease Shadow Shell Scarab melee damage by 15% on Mythic. So they nerfed a little bit Scatter Shell Scarab melee damage. Increase the number of stacks for Void Degeneration and Burning Touch that triggered Touch of Death to 5. This was 4. So once again,
this is the biggest change.
Similar to all of them combined are really good because then they're gonna make for a much easier time on and I would say less stressful. I think like Silken is one of like the biggest, like you thought. Well, Ovinax also,
from
but
what
this
I understood
also, it's a big ass dance. Like you have to like get into the groove really, really good on this one.
Some people were saying that already got cutting edge that this was harder than Anseric in a way because Anseric.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard like Silken Court. You mean? Yeah.
Yeah, Silken Court. Prior to the nerfs was harder than Anseric. That was nerfed already for the last 3 months or so.
Yeah. So we don't know, but this was considered indeed by a lot of guilds more difficult. Also, there's the being damaged by the web bomb no longer create moats on Mythic difficulty.
Oh shit!
So the thing is, 100% what was expected for the Silken Core fight kind of happened. Now this should make an easier transition. I'm curious to see like on logs how many other guilds go for and get actually the kill and get to Anseric. We will be hopefully streaming our progress
We probably are. It's gonna be fine.
For Silken Court, the next week. But overall, it's good. So it's not only doom and gloom, guys. There's good things happening. I mean, it's not the end of the world or something.
The thing is, I don't remember seeing these many nerfs for one boss in 1 week, maybe ever. They normally nerf it. They normally nerf the HP a little bit, then maybe the damage a little bit, then maybe 1 or 2 mechanics at the most in the next week, right? So these normally happen in the course of like 3 or 4 months. All of these just happen in like less than a week. So this is pretty big. It's obviously gonna just let more people get closer to Ansarek, and considering that we still have at least 2 more months of this raid, we might get cutting edge, man.
Yeah, it's a hope we do get cutting edge. So fingers crossed, and everybody plays focused. Now, did you hear about the recent surveys?
I did, yes.
I don't know what is it.
There are some surveys. I think you remember Chromie. We met him at
I know the Chromie D.
Yeah, there were German surveys. I don't know if he translated them or he posted them on his websites, but people on MMO Champion just linked them from his website.
Okay.
And apparently there are surveys that are asking people about the potential Tinker class and what they would like to see. The thing is, it looked a lot of it fake. And there was a lot of cope saying that, oh, some of these are deliberately fake in case this was leaked, because apparently in the survey says this is confidential, don't show anybody. Like, Blizzard is going to launch a survey and not expect people to actually share what the survey is about.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
But it was about Tinker, so I don't really know if it's that reliable. I mean, it's maybe fun to speculate, but it felt player made for me. I mean, at least reading them. So I didn't really put too much into it. I don't know if something else came up that I might have skipped. But it wasn't that, didn't feel like that was a big
we
deal.
talked about the Tinker class when we had our wrap up about 11.1.
Yeah.
We actually have like a full on video about it. We believe it's still entirely possible.
Sure.
We are talking about, so what we did, we kind of like compared it to the release of Augmentation Evoker. And fair enough, that's a spec within a class that was already released. This time around, we're talking about a full complete class, which is, I want to say maybe this is why they don't have time to react to everything that's happening in Season 1.
So, okay, because we've had some weird conversations on stream where people expected for Blizzard to just hear everybody wanted Tinker and just start working on it and then just have it released by 11.
Yeah, fuck Mythic Plus season, guys.
No,
don't worry about that. Let's focus on Tinker.
On option 1, they released the Tinker in 11.1.5 or 11.1 or whatever. That means that they would have had it in the works for a year around, maybe a year, maybe 6 or 8 months, maybe at least
it was just not ready because they're not going to like start working on it.
But it doesn't even have to be ready. Maybe they just actually wanted to release it with the Undermine patch because it made sense. Oh, you've helped the goblins retake and dethrone Gallywix. Now they're going to share their tech and their culture with you, and they're going to join the Horde and Alliance as Tinkers, right? They could actually spin that narrative and be part of the story.
But goblins are already part of the Horde.
The Tinkers, not goblins, but the goblins are in the Undermine. So that would make sense as to why they wouldn't release it with the expansion, because we already had Earthens in, we already had everything going on with the War Within. It was fine. It doesn't have to be at the release. The counterbalance to that is that they would if they had it planned all along for the War Within, they just wanted to release it later, they would have probably announced it, because it's a big hype builder.
It's a big hype builder, but I really feel if that was the case, the class was just not ready. And yeah, the context is important, and maybe we get it in a 0.5.
The thing is, they were planning on releasing Augmentation the entire time of their development of the War Within, and the Dragonflight, but they didn't say anything at any point in time. I mean, they're not saying anything now, so we don't know if they are working or not on Tinker. We're speculating, we're assuming, we're coping a little bit. But the thing is, before you release any other classes for WoW, because at one point we're probably gonna have to have a new class, because the show must go on. We would need a new thing.
Yes, and balancing still needs to be addressed.
Yeah, and Tinker just fits so many boxes, whether you want to cope about it or not, whether you say that we're reaching or not, Tinker just fits a lot of boxes. First of all, it's one of the classes that has been asked for a long time. With the Bard, which is kind of Augmentation, aka the support class, the help your friends class, that's been asked for forever, with the Tinker, with the Lich, with the Necromancer, with the what else? Blood Mage or whatever. Like all of these, because Blood Mage was the hero in Warcraft 3. So all of these were asked for a long time. Tinker would be one of them. Now we have a patch fully devoted to Tinkers. The tech for Tinkers and the rig for Tinkers is already in the game with mech suits, with robots, with turrets all around. They have a Tinker spec class in Heroes of the Storm, and they've been having it for what, 10 years? How old is Heroes of the Storm? It's pretty old.
It's more than 10 years.
It's more than 10 years.
I mean, in development, no. The release was in 2015.
So the concept has been fleshed out by the Warcraft team, whether it's Team 2 or another team that worked on the Heroes of the Storm. And it would fit in the need of a support. It would fit in the need of a tank. It would fit in the need of a male class, which is something that people have been asking for even before Evoker. Give us a new male class, which was the Evoker. It would fit in a lot of the problems that WoW has today, and they could be solved by Tinker, realistically. Not to mention that we can speculate as to what it could be, but I think we have to give it to Project Ascension. I don't know if they're the only ones or the first one that did this, but they had some of the most interesting Tinker concepts as a class, and you showed it up in the video.
Yeah,
so they don't they have a blueprint already. It's not something impossible to do. It's definitely possible. Now, whether or not they do it, that's just the actual question.
Yeah, and instead of a healing spec, I would actually love for the Tinker to be a support spec, like augmentation.
Yeah, no, but
give some competition to that shit.
I don't want it a healer. I wanted a support because we have 7 healers to 6 tanks. Usually they were always kind of like the same number.
Yeah.
So we're probably gonna, ideally, if we want to keep the mathematical symmetry up, we want a tank and a support.
Yeah, but also there's Lamakun makes a good point. There's still before even releasing something like that, make sure all of the other classes are in the good space. Because druids are problematic, warriors are problematic.
Sure,
there's a lot of examples.
That's always going to be a thing, because if you think about it, before they released Drag Tier classes had problems too.
Oh yeah, true.
Frost
true,
Decay
yeah.
with nothing. Druid had even worse problems back then with before the Evoker
true.
release.
It's true. But again, you get that hype train going if you're gonna announce something like
you're not just gonna you want this, we're just gonna give this instead. Obviously, you want free shit, but you kind of want both of those things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess we kind of wrapped it up, Flame.
For sure. This has been a beefy one.
Not that beefy, but we talked a lot about
more porky.
Yeah. So hopefully we're gonna have some great news next week, because again we have an 11.0.7 release on Wednesday, and after that, fingers crossed, on that Thursday we will have some big chunks to talk about in our wrap up in regards to 11.1 and all of the expected Mythic Plus changes that are going to come with that 11.1 patch. Hopefully, if not,
I mean, let's start the holidays with a good spirit, right? Let's keep Blizzard. Give us some good shit.
And if not, there's always PoE 2 over there. What?
For sure. What? You're gonna see it on the channel?
Nobody said nothing. All right. So thank you everybody for joining, for chatting, for liking, for subbing. All of that. It means the world to us. Usually you catch this show every Thursday at 7 p.m. CET and 10 a.m. PST. Now, it could be that next week it won't happen. It really depends on what type of news we have. But if it is, we're going to announce it everywhere. So once again, thank you so much for joining. You guys have a great holiday season ahead. Catch Flame tomorrow with more streams and videos. Mains video, actually, for 11.1. Really cool. It's tomorrow, yes. No tier list tomorrow. Mains video. Ha, ha, ha. All right. Bye. Ha, 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 ha. Say ha.
Ha. Oh.